Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, the sports center for college marching bands where we recap the ultimate battles from this weekend. And now, here's our host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Unmute your microphones. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you. We welcome all those, whether you're listening on the internet, whether you're listening in podcast form, live, the blog, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are on the interwebs. We appreciate your support. If you decide you like the show, then go ahead and go to our website, themarchingpodcast.com, and you'll see one of the donate buttons. Go ahead and click that and help contribute to our scholarship fund and our national signing day for marching bands that we have every spring. All right? And so we are one member down, but that member may be calling in a little bit later. But we want to say hello to the person that's here with us, the one and only editor, owner of BlockUsUp.com band blog, Mr. Ernest Stackhouse. How you doing in this podcast, sir?
What's up, everybody? I'm finally here, man. I'm finally in one place and not on the road. So I'm just glad to be here. Be safe this weekend, man. And just got some rest this weekend, bro. So I'm well rested and ready to go.
That's what's up. You guys know, y'all watch the show. Ernest has done a couple of shows with us driving on the road. You know,
I know.
So
we should do a whole episode about that on the road.
Right. Just on the road. Well, that's what's up, man. Appreciate you being there. Shout out to the people in the chat room as the chat room starts to fill out. Killer Kev already up in there. Yes, I saw your work, brother. Shout out to Killer Kev.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
We always go ahead and start the show out with our what's ups and shout outs and what we did this week. So I asked you, I'll go ahead and see what was going on. And yeah, Bridget, she said she would be calling in later. So once she calls in, we'll get the logistics and all that going on. But Ernest, man, how was your week, man? What'd you do? Any shout outs? What was going on with you this going on, man?
Man, I want to shout out. I got two shout outs. First, I want to shout out Colin Kaepernick and everything that he had going on this weekend in Atlanta. He's going through that whole ordeal about the NFL blackballing him. And this weekend, he had an opportunity for a few teams to come out and check him out. And there was some drama behind it that went on. But he decided to do it on his own terms, and I'm proud of that. So he held the event and controlled the narrative. And as everyone can see it, he's healthy. He's in good shape. He's better than about half the NFL quarterbacks right now. So there's really no reason why anyone should not give that man a shot, man. So shout out to Colin Kaepernick and what he's doing.
All
and
right.
then my second.
Just real quick, he's a member of is he a member of Kappa Alpha Psi?
That's right. That's right. That's my bro.
Yeah, man. I'm just helping you out there with the little piggyback.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah. That's, you know what I'm saying? And he's a straight up bro.
Right.
He's not honorary. Right. So yeah.
Right.
Shout out to the Newt. Yeah. But man, just so proud of everything he's accomplished, man. I had the opportunity to meet him once, and he's a real cool cat, real down to earth, bro. So if you ever have the opportunity to be in his presence or meet him or just highlight him on social media, and if he responds, man, you'll see that he's 100% real. What you see is what you get. That's what I like about him. But yeah, shout out to Colin, man. Shout out to the president, Barack Obama, my president. This is I think we are 3 days past now his inauguration. So not inauguration, but when he was voted to be president.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Uh, we celebrating that, man. And throughout his presidency, that's what I'm celebrating. Nobody from his campaign went to jail. Nobody from his cabinet went to jail. He didn't have any impeachment trials, even when the Republicans controlled both houses. Still no impeachment trial. So the model president, man, shout out to Barack Obama.
And let me just add on to that. What I was most scared of was sexual scandals. I was shout out
Yeah,
to
right.
brother. I was scared
No
for you,
sexual
brother.
scandal. No Russia tapes.
Yeah,
No
hey man, I'm telling you, man, he could have
no,
had
none of
some.
that.
They probably paraded some stuff out there in front of him too. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
yep.
I mean,
You know what I mean? You know that. You
hey
know
man.
that.
He's like, no. He was like, no, I'm down with Michelle. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, there you go, brother. So, yeah.
You know it got tough for him at a
Oh
second,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah. You know it. You know
doing the tan suit phase, he had it coming at him.
it. Yes, indeed.
Oh man. But yeah, that's all I got, bro. Shout out to those gentlemen. And I actually, man, this week I just stayed home, bro, and got some rest, man. Just was glad to be off the road. So shout out to my wife for putting up with me being home this week.
Right. Round of applause for the wife.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's
But I
up,
was on
man.
the road, man, doing a lot of traveling, judging band competitions. I had a lot going on this year. It was a really good year for me. Just started. A lot of you may know I just started my new organization, AMMEA, which stands for Advocates for Music and Music Education Association. And if you don't know it, just visit www.amea.com, AMMEA, and .org. I'm sorry, for more information on that. But what it is just a new music education association we started in the state of South Carolina to benefit the collegiate and high school bands in that state. So it's a new initiative. It has me busy, traveling a lot, and stretched out a little bit, but we're making some big things happen.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I know we introduced that last week, so yeah, definitely good luck to you. And anything we can use on the platform to keep you moving ahead, we'll definitely do that. For me, let me see. Let me look and just double check. Bridget said that she was gonna be online soon, so I don't know if you got a text from her or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
see it.
Oh, what she say?
She said, "I'm ready."
Oh, word. All right,
Yep.
we about to do a live call, live on the air. About to call Bridget Bell, the pride of Morgan State University. All right, let's see here, and we'll get Bridget on here. Yeah, I think I heard my phone going off, but I can't reach it. All right, say it's calling her. Oh, it's saying.
Stop.
Oh, I
What's
hear her.
up?
I'm waiting to see the. Oh, there go Brid. Oh, now Bridget
Look at
in the
that.
car. Now Brid. Oh
We done
snap!
switched
We
Right?
places.
switched.
I know, right?
Nice.
I know.
Oh,
Y'all
that's
lucky.
what's
I
up.
didn't think I was gonna make it, but I done made it. I done made it happen. What's going on, y'all?
All
What's
right. What's
up?
going on, Bridget? Good to see you. Glad to have you on. You look nice. Where you coming from,
Thank
Bridget?
you. Church, the house of the Lord.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I was
The
wondering.
house of the Lord.
Yep.
That's all
Yeah,
good.
I had PK duties today, so PK duties calleth.
Well, that's what's
Uh,
up. That's what's up. So I asked you real quick. We just finished. Ernest just gave his shout outs. Anything going on with you
Nah.
this week?
Oh, we
Uh,
on air. I'm sitting here all talking. Hey, everybody.
yeah, yeah,
I thought I was just talking to y'all. Sorry. Hey,
yeah.
it's
You
good
know,
you
everybody.
you,
What's
you
up?
didn't cuss. You didn't cuss, so you
right.
good. You good.
I just came into the house of the Lord. I know I didn't cuss. I'm doing good. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Yeah, well, we glad to have you on. Yeah, we just started. Matter of fact, we were just killing some
That's
time.
what's up.
Yeah, we were just killing some time, just talking about what was going on. And Ernest said you appreciate his wife for letting him be in the house all this week. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, wifey. Go ahead, sister.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Talked about Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
They
Oh
trying to
God.
play him. And you know what's funny?
I think he's trying to play. I think he's trying to play himself. But okay, go ahead.
oh, he tried. You don't want him to play, Bridget?
Yeah, it's not that I don't want him to play. I think he's doing too much right now.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
think he's doing too much. I think he's doing too much. My opinion is a little different, but go ahead, y'all. Go ahead. I think he's doing too much. If he's gonna be an activist, I need him to be an activist. Or if he's gonna be a player, sometimes you gotta humble yourself for a second, then you can go back and run your mouth. But he's doing a bit much.
Oh,
So I
all
think he
right.
played it. I think he played himself. I think he played himself. But hey, he didn't show up to the workout. Like what? It was too much. It was too much going on. He doing too much.
So what happened? I had just heard this. Uh, they apparently sent a contract over to him the morning of, like Saturday morning,
Hmm.
and it was
That's what
something
happened.
that he didn't like, and he was
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Why y'all gonna throw this at me right now?" So they was like, "You better take it or leave it, boy." Or wait, I'm sorry, take it or leave it, Mr. Kaepernick. And then,
Hmm.
and then, well, he said, "Well, I'm gonna leave it," and then he rescheduled it at a high school. So he
Right.
went to a high school and they did it outside.
It's too
Um,
much going on. It's too much
yeah,
going
Uh,
on, people. It's too much. It's too much. Like for
Well,
real, it's too much on both people's side, like on Colin Kaepernick's side and on the NFL side. I think it's too much. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a band director.
well, you know what? Like, y- I think Colin's uh, approach, his whole disposition towards this was truly upright. You know, he wanted to give this whole thing an opportunity to come through, but there was some shady business going on, and that whole contract mix up and all that those details. And NFL wanted to have exclusive rights to the media and all this other contractual stuff that he was not aware of until the last minute. I'm glad he was like, you know what? Forget that. I'm gonna host my own event, and that's what he did. So he hosted his own event. He got his own receivers together. He got his own media team to promote it on social media, and that's what we saw. We didn't see the NFL event that they wanted us to see because that would have been just some kind of made up politic driven event. And the whole thing, just like you said, Bridget, the whole thing was political anyway because it's on a Saturday. NFLs don't do
Right.
outs on
On
Saturday,
Saturday.
you know?
Exactly. They
And
traveling.
right, and the whole thing was and then the Jay-Z part of it when he came out in an article saying that he was getting attacked personally behind all this, so he wanted to set this up so that everybody get off his back. So this the whole thing it had a lot of politics about it. So uh, like I applaud Kaepernick for being willing to show up and when things weren't right, being strong enough to be like, nah, that's not it. But Jay in the NFL, man, I'm side eyed of them cats. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
yeah. I'm more surprised, to be honest with you. When the whole thing started, I'm surprised that it took on the life that it did, because a lot of people protest the national anthem. I mean, that's what we do in this country. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it
Hmm.
was that big of a deal. But then when they tried to flip it and say that he was disrespecting soldiers and all of that, they tried to definitely they tried to make a certain line.
They tried to change the narrative.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
had nothing
yeah.
to do
I was
with
just about to say Donald
patriotism.
Donaldson. Shout out to
Yeah,
Donald
it wasn't no.
Donaldson in the chat room. He
Yeah,
said you got to control your own narrative, and that's
that's
essentially
right.
how this all started. They wanted to control the
Right.
narrative of why he was kneeling.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They
and
want to, and they still want to control the narrative.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm glad he's strong enough to be like, no, you don't get to control the narrative. This is about me. This is my life. I control the narrative. I'm going to let the people know what's going to happen, how I feel, what I look like, what I'm doing. He got on social media. He was like, look, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. You can see I've been working this whole time. I haven't missed a beat. Sports commentators commenting on how healthy he looks. He looks healthier than when he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Shout out to the 49ers. We 8-1. I was back. But when Kaepernick took us to the Super Bowl, this and he looks better now than then. So I'm like, come on, man. There's no reason why that man should not have a job, but you know the reason why. Because he's being taught a lesson.
He being
And
blackballed. It's called being
yeah,
blackballed.
yeah, exactly. He's being blackballed. And the NFL is playing politics with it. They're trying to dibble on this side with Jay-Z while dibbling on this side with their racist supporters and trying to make sure that everybody's happy, and that's not going to work. It's going to blow up on somebody.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised it's happened to this extent. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely. I do remember when he took Alex Smith's job, and Jim Harbaugh was his coach, and Jim Harbaugh,
Yep.
was a good quarterback coach, but
Yep.
he tends to wear people down. He tends to get on people's nerves, and as soon as he started regressing, it looked like as soon as he started getting on people's nerves, that's when Kaepernick started regressing, because it's obviously when he started pulling out and planning his exit strategy. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
um,
That's when he wanted to go to be a free. We became a free agent. He was trying to
yeah,
get up out of.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he had a bad season after that, because I remember I had him in
Mhm.
fantasy, and I mean
Mhm.
the brother had a bad season, man. So from
Mhm.
there, I definitely believe with all the coaching and stuff, somebody can have him and be successful.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so just like they
Steelers
do it
need
in
him right
Baltimore.
now.
Just like in doing in Baltimore. I really like what Baltimore is
Absolutely.
doing, because
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's talented, but those coaches over there, they setting up stuff to make them successful. And that's
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. Coaches, believe it or not, are teachers, y'all. People don't be
Yeah.
knowing that, but Nick Saban is a teacher. So Nick say he got to put people. Wait, Nick Saban. I forgot. Bridget liked the Crimson Tide. My
Roll
bad.
Tide.
My bad.
Roll
Yeah.
Tide. Roll
Yeah, my
Tide. Don't play
bad.
with me. Roll Tide.
But he's a teacher. You know what I'm saying? And his job is to put the player in successful positions. I think
Mhm.
people kind of forget that, because they put it all on the player sometimes. Like, he's got to rise above and do all of this stuff. But I digress. So Bridget, did you have anything? Just double checking with you while you're driving.
um, shout out to this week. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Shout out to I got to go to see a Latin. We have an off Broadway theater here, so when the productions come out of Broadway, they come to us at the Hippodrome here in Baltimore, and we got free tickets. So shout out to the person that gave us the free tickets to take all my band students to see Aladdin this week. Great production. They did. The cast was outstanding. Very diverse cast. My kids are doing the music from Aladdin for their winter concert, so it's great to be able to let them put it all together. So shout out to that. Shout out to you mentioned Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to the Baltimore Ravens doing their thing. Absolutely. Shout out to the Morgan State football team. They haven't had a good season, but they beat A&T, and that's all that
That's all that
matters. So
matters.
shout
That's
That's
all that
all that
matters.
matters. Like, you don't have to beat nobody all year. You went homecoming, beat A&T. Shoot, we had a winning season. Let me tell it. So yeah. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Bruins. The day is 8, so I don't know if you already said it, but shout out Joe Baird and
I was waiting.
the
Uh-oh. She
Yeah.
she
She
going
breaking
through an
up.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you going through an area. That's dope. She's like the brush in slow motion. You see that? The
to
brush.
the bro, to the surprise.
All right, I
It'll
think you.
come back. It's Baltimore. It's Baltimore City. It's that Baltimore
Oh
City
yeah. Oh
connection.
yeah. You
I gotta
back.
get through. I gotta get through Baltimore City to get to my location.
Well, that's what's up though. Yeah, shout out to the bros. Founders Day, Friday night, Thurkill Hall. It was raining, and the three students and their faculty advisor gave birth to the greatest organization in the galaxy, next to the Sonic Boom Alumni Association, the St. Louis
Ernest dying
Cardinals,
over there.
the St. Louis Rams / LA Rams, all of that, just all mixed into one. In the Blues, the St. Louis Blues, the greatest ever. So shout out to
Wow.
them. Shout out to the Bros. What else? What happened this week? Shout out to my daughter and her soccer team. They finished the season, and give them a round of applause. My daughter got a little soccer medal for her participation, and because I shagged balls at practice, I got a little $15 certificate to Starbucks. So I was
All
really
right.
excited about that. And the coach said, "Man, good looking out. Thanks for helping." So I will be interviewing him on the upcoming Chopping It Up season. Coach Mike Gomez, he was our coach. So I'll be interviewing him. But I was really happy. Kennedy showed really good promise on defense and as a goalie. But she never really liked offense, but she actually played really well on offense. So I was really happy for her. And every time she made a save, I would cry a little bit, and then I'd walk away so nobody would see me. So, yeah, man, it was a great season. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. And shout out to y'all as I hit y'all up throughout the week and everything. It's always good to talk to y'all. Ernest, last week, I wanted to give you a shout out because you were helping one of your friends. We had him in our prayers. Had a
Yeah.
house fire or something.
Yeah, my cousin. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was praying for him. And
Yeah,
then,
man. It was just nice house too, nice home, man. He does well for himself and his family in Spartanburg, South Carolina. But he had an electrical fire. His water heater did some kind of electrical issue, and house went up, man. Went up in fire. Luckily, everybody got out. They were awake. No one was asleep, so they all were able to get out. But the whole house is burnt down quickly too. It's like happened so fast. So we went up and we we took care of them. They did what family do. So yeah.
Well, that's what's up, man. Yeah, we definitely have him in our prayers.
Appreciate that.
And then last week, Bridget had a gig, and she was tired, and she had to cook a whole bunch of food. And
She
just remember,
did. Boy, that food looked good.
hey man, so we gonna have when we have our marching podcast convention, we gonna hook Bridget up with some of the proceeds because Bridget, you might have to be cooking a little bit. I'll give you an extra day, so it's like if it's like you gotta cook it and then have fun in California. But yeah, we hooking that up. So we want to give a shout out to Bridget. I talked to her last week about doing the show, and she was like, "Yeah, I think I can call in." I was like, "Whoa, Bridget, hold up, you sound tired." And she's like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "All right, so yeah, we'll be back next week." You know what I'm saying, for the BoomBox. So
I appreciate the shout out. I appreciate the shout out. I have my second passion. Yep, everybody know I have a passion for music, but my second passion is definitely for cooking, and I hope one day to be able to venture and do that full time. But I have a catering business and was blessed to get some nice contracts. So shout out to that. It was awesome. A grueling event. It took me a couple of days to recover, but I've been getting some really nice. I'm blessed to get some nice contracts, and people were pleased. So if you're in the area, if you're in the DMV, definitely look me up. SouthernBelleDelights.org. Look me up. Or .com, sorry, SouthernBelleDelights.com.
And if you're in the Southern California area, Joe Beard's working on the Tupperware system. So hit me up. The Tupperware hit me up, and I'll try to work something out for you. All right, y'all. So if that's everything, shout out to the bros. I already said it, but shout out to the bros. So we'll do that. We'll take our first commercial break, and we'll talk about the greatest rivalry in all of HBCU fandom, Jackson State Southern. And, a lot of comments, a lot of people had something to say, which is, funny all the time. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the show. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show, the BoomBox Classic episode. We'll listen to our first couple sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style and traditional bands worldwide.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, you guys can unmute your microphone. Let me get back to the camera. All right. We're back to the show. Our third sponsor, and I love and shout out to, hold on, let me give a round of applause to the one and only Janetta Powell Smith. Classmate from Jackson State, the owner and founder of Bull City Music School. So my bad, Janetta. I was supposed to call her this week, and we were supposed to do the commercial, and then I got distracted. I did something, and then called her yesterday, and I was like, was I supposed to call you? And she said, yeah. And I was like, damn. I was like, my bad, JP. My bad. But Bull City Music School, she's doing a lot of big things. We also chopped it up with her. So if you guys chop it up with Janetta Powell Smith, you actually see how she created the school from scratch. She's got 2 locations, but check her out, bullcitymusicschool.com. You can call her at 919-423-5701. Get your child, get yourself the music lessons you need. She's also doing some big things, and forgive me for not knowing the details, but she's helping with the North Carolina versus South Carolina football bowl. I believe it's all the all-stars from North Carolina High School versus the all-stars from South Carolina High School, and I think that she's involved with that event. I think Bull City Music School and Store is doing something with that event. So you guys go ahead and hit her up. She's doing big things for herself out there in North Carolina. Good old Jackson State education. All right. All right. So now I wanted to talk to you guys about the matchup of the weekend. We had Jackson State against Southern University. Shout out to Garrett Edgerson, who is my boy, and I always feel like I was the first person that discovered Garrett, but you know that's just me. But he's doing his thing. I always want to holler at him. But we can get right into it. Ernest, did you get a chance to check out the BoomBox? And what did you think of it?
Oh my God. Yeah, I would have to agree, man, with what you said in a little bit. I don't want to blow your head up, but yeah, but this is definitely a good meeting, man. These two, whenever they get together, it's just a good competition, man. They show up for each other. And both bands showed up, man. It was a knockout, drag out. So my hats goes off to both band staffs, man, and the fans showed up too. So it's like this was a good event. But I was real impressed with both halftimes. Southern came on the field, took me back to my childhood with the circle drill and the star drill. And oh man, I mean that was just a very emotional performance from me. And I'm not SU alone. So, but you know, we've been watching these band tapes since we've been kids, man. They took it back to the legendary Greg's era. So that was dope. And then Jackson State came out there, man, and they didn't drill too much, but what they did was really clean. It were real clean on the field, you know, cleaner than Southern, I might add. So I really enjoyed that, man. I enjoyed that they're doing their dance routine. Jackson State made fun of the Southern mishap from last week, and the crowd got it. Everybody was busting out laughing about that, man. So it was a good little moment. But it was a nice meetup, man. Both bands showed up and showed out. The fans won this one, I have to say.
Yeah, it's definitely tense when we play each other. I still heard a lot of the boos and a lot of that that fierce hate. So it's still
Yeah.
there. Like there's like a mutual respect, but then there's like, man, I hate them. Like you know what I'm saying? So I still saw that. I saw the zero. Well, I saw all of the parts. Um, but I had to ask you guys. I had a couple of things to say about like play calling per se. And I still don't know why Southern like leave. Like, please
Yeah.
somebody explain that to me. When both bands is about to be the bomb, Southern be dipping, and they be dipping fast too. I was like, why y'all? Why? Oh, so of course they did it again this year, and then of course I saw a lot of people in the chat would say, "Oh, well, the damage was done, J State. We already did what we had to do, and we left." I'm
Right.
like, nah, man.
That's what they always say.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
So like when
what
you
we got to prove. You know,
right,
we're leaving.
right. When you
But
shoot
any other day, they're gonna stay for 2 hours
for Pine Bluff or something.
right, right,
They
right.
bow on Pine Bluff. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Southern, man. Y'all shooting bones. Y'all know y'all ain't letting nobody leave in like 15, 20 minutes either now. Y'all know what I'm
Right.
talking about. Come on now. So, yeah, I was excited because both bands sounded good. I didn't
Yeah.
know the names of the songs, though, that I'm hearing because I'm getting old. But Southern, I ain't going to lie, one of them songs in the fifth quarter, Southern, it felt like they sounded better, or like the arrangement or their rendition was better. But for me, well, let me say this about halftime. I wish that Jackson State had a different drill because that Southern drill is like my favorite, one of my favorite drills. That star drill,
Yeah.
I just really like that drill. So
Yeah.
then Jackson State had like a basic drill, but then they did the thing at the end where instead of when they did Rock the House, they had it in like
Yeah.
block formation. So like the letters, I guess it would be like 3D looking or something like that.
Right.
So I thought that was cool. Southern came out and did the star drill, and they just had it seemed like they had a lot more action, or they made. I mean, they was
Mhm.
mad because they was on the road or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then their ending was they did a little bit of the dance routine, and then they didn't march to the rest of their formations. They kind of just like kind of hopped and skipped, and then formed kings, and then played the that one song that they always play, Kings. Then they went to the sideline blowdown. But it seemed like
I like how they
everybody,
played that. Can you feel it in the middle of the drill too?
yeah,
That
they
was
did that. They did.
yeah.
So a lot of people it looked like online was saying that Southern won. I get at least halftime. I saw that our man Kevin Peete had Southern's or Jackson State drum majors with the Michael Jordan head on it. So I saw that, but I don't know. As far as halftime goes, just because that drill, I'm biased towards that star drill. I like what they did. I just wish Jackson State did something different in the drill, but they did something
It's
different
like
at the end.
yeah, and it was yeah. Southern the classic circle star drill. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat that, but Jackson State was clean on what they did. I like that their formations were clean. They everybody executed the Tiger run on, which is in later years. I used to see some individuals not really moving their feet fast enough on that, or getting down low enough on that. But everything they did was clean, and they sounded good, looked good. So it's hard for me to go with either band on that. I was impressed with halftime from both groups, but
Yeah.
if I had to give it to somebody, I guess I would go with the crowd and give it to Southern for the classic uh, drill aspect of it, because that just takes everybody back. I think that's why everybody gave it to them. They just remember that drill.
Bridget, what you think with the sunroof open? Bridget got the sunroof. Hold on, let's get a round of applause for the
Uh,
sunroof up there. Let's talk.
Oh, you funny. You funny. I'm trying to make sure I got some light up in here. Y'all know I'm a chocolate sister. Gotta make sure you can see me. It's nighttime. That daylight savings time be getting me. So I had to make sure y'all can see me. I ain't trying to be. So let me tell you. So this is the most hype I've seen. Like you see hype around the BoomBox Classic, but like when I say hype, like people been hype talking junk all week. Like even I don't see Jackson State directors online as much, but Southern directors are, shout out to Ken and Brian, and let me tell you, they was hyped. Jackson State Week, BoomBox Classic, all the alumni, like everybody. And I said this earlier in our season that Southern's band doesn't get up. Matter of fact, when they played FAMU, I said that they don't get up for many bands, but they always get up for Jackson State. And Southern, This is the band that we like to see, but it shouldn't only be motivated by Jackson State. It has to be consistent. I'm gonna put that out. And you see a whole different energy. Like, I'm cool with the directors or whatever. It was like 2:00 in the morning. I'm up. I'm like, Ken, what you doing up? He like, man, it's Jackson State week. We just leaving practice. I'm like, yo, they like when I tell you they get up for Jackson. They get up for Jackson State, which is, I'm gonna tell you now, I give Southern the BoomBox Classic this year, because for several reasons. One. I don't know if anybody's noticed. Jackson State, they really got up for Crank Fest, and I think they kind of took this a little bit. They didn't quite take this to heart as much, but it's one of them situations where I thought Jackson State took Crank Fest, but Southern was like, you know what, you ain't gonna punch this. And so I think they came for them really hard. For this, so I'm definitely giving them the edge up. Halftime, both bands did a nice job at halftime, but Southern did have the better show. We saw classic Southern, like they went back to their roots, and I actually like it. Like I hadn't seen this girl in like forever, and I'm like you, Ernest. I got excited like my childhood days. Like, yeah, that's the circle drill in the star. Like I was like, yeah, that's the star. Dang, they did the everything down to, I even pay attention to the dancers and auxiliary. Of course, we saw 3J set, so we know they got some internal stuff. We know allegedly. We got to say allegedly. The dancers got suspended. Some of their drummers got suspended. They got some internal stuff going on, and that always affects that can affect your performance. So we know we get it Jackson State, but Southern just came forward. They came out the box in the fifth quarter. Oh my gosh, like Southern just came out the box. I didn't really watch the zero. I hear Jackson State was a little bit better in the zero quarter, but I haven't watched it, so I can't really say it. But halftime, I definitely give the Southern. So shout out to Southern directors. I think the band looked good. They looked good. They marched good. They had that energy. They was hype. But we saw that. I felt like we saw the old Southern energy that we've been asking for. And same thing in the fifth quarter. I definitely give them the edge.
Man, definitely old school Southern. You right about that. As far as the J sets and the percussion, we don't have internal issues at Jackson State. Round of applause.
So the dance line just goes down from 14 to 3 in prison. God, note to self.
Well, what happened, or allegedly, this is what I heard on my side, was that some of them got sick, and they didn't want to keep spreading the germs. So the 3 girls who remained healthy, they were the ones that could practice all week. So they were the ones that showed up.
They got sick, all right.
So
what's the ailment? They sick, all right, but what's the ailment? Let's talk about that. I heard it begins with an H.
Oh no, we don't have that.
Okay.
We don't do that at Jackson State. That's never.
I heard
happened.
they got the haze ailment.
No, we don't do that. We don't. Jackson State is a haze-free program.
I didn't say nothing about hazing.
When I was there,
go ahead.
We were actually welcomed into the band. Like
I bet you were.
Why, Ernest? Why you laughing, man? What you talking about, man?
You talking about in the 90s? Oh, come on, Joe. The 90s?
I bet you were welcome.
Yeah, 97.
Okay.
It was safe. It was safe in 97. I'm just telling. But okay. So you made me think of something else, Bridget. Southern also, they did like an imitation of the J5. The drum majors, and they were kind of doing their thing. The only thing is, they halfway look good. They tried to imitate.
They actually did. They did. Like I thought that was the Jackson State drum majors for a second. I was like, yo, they look just like them.
I said, dang. You can imitate us, but dang, boy, you look good doing it though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't imitate. They studied some tape.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, they
But
look good.
they all study some tape. So what's funny to me? So I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. Garrett, we love you, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about you a little bit today.
Yeah.
So Southern during their homecoming show, they had a major catastrophe, and Garrett is a wonderful editor in his media team, but they edited it out. So they had this whole little pyramid collision joint. I was trying not to repost it. I was trying to be respectful because I'm friends with everybody. I was like, I'm not gonna repost it, but it is hilarious. But the editing is even funnier because it's like this little green thing come on. We saw that, bro. The fact that they did that, let me tell you, I was sitting there like, what are they doing? I was like, they got yellow shirts on. I was like, they doing like that Super 8, Super 16 joint. And then I looked and I hollered. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so foolish. But they forever, when they play each other, they forever getting on each other about something.
Yeah. Hey, something happened with the mascot from Jackson State and one of Southern's assistant band director.
I saw something happen.
Yeah.
He must have.
They got into a little brawl or something.
Yeah, he must have ran to run into the pole or something, and maybe somebody was over there. I know that happened. I think homecoming, where the Grambling mascot, I think it was a girl too. She stood in the way of the pole. And Wavy Dave just went and jumped on it anyway. Boom, took it down, and it started a whole. Because Wavy Dave used to go into the pole, and then all the babies used to run to the goal post.
Right.
I was wondering because I think I watched Showtime Webb's footage, and he got over there kind of late, and it looked like it was a scuffle going on. It looked like somebody was fighting.
Something happened. I'm not sure, but I think during the end of Southern's performance, didn't they do something with something about the mascot too? It was something going over, and then he panned over. I don't know if the mascot must have got mad or something. I don't know. If anybody know in the chat room,
tell
us what happened because we nosy. We want to know. We nosy. We want to know.
Yeah, definitely. And shout out to the chat room. And I don't know who this dude is. Is ban somebody? We got a spammer. We got a spammer up in there, y'all. Unless that's somebody boy, or unless Bridget might know her.
I don't know nobody. Who is it? Who is it? Because I'm not in the chat room today. I'm driving. What's the name?
I don't know. I blocked him on one thing, but I can't.
What did he say? What did he say? So we can talk about his mama. I'm only playing.
Well,
go ahead.
He's definitely a Trump supporter because he mad at Ernest. So that's why I know. He ain't one of our normal listeners. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. If he got something to say, we can talk about your mama.
What you got? Bring it.
Oh man!
Don't talk about.
Hey man, I'm telling you, boy, them Trump people, Obama gone, man. They still mad about it. Why they keep bringing him up? Let the man go.
Because now Trump was so horrible that Barack Obama is looking like a king.
Well,
he the king.
Well, you know what?
He like Southern. He the king.
Well, hey, man.
Mitch and the boys try to get together in the basement and try to say, you know what? We're going to make him a one-term president, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. We're going to block everything. And he still did his thing. 2 terms, no drama, no impeachment.
None.
No sexual scandal. Don't forget that one. No sexual scandal. Round of applause for no sexual scandal.
Exactly.
Brother, that was what I was saying. Just saying.
You get mad all they want. Hate on that.
I don't know what you scared about that one for. He married to a sister. Y'all ain't want to see what was going to happen in the White House.
Exactly.
He stepped down with her.
Right. Tear that sucker up.
Charlotte, he married to a sister. You know how we gets down. There been some.
Well, hey, So shout out to the chat room. I'm seeing some other folks in the chat room. I think Donald Johnson asked me about my shirt. So shout out to my shirt. I'll put this up there. It's my shirt. Eustace. Lord, I forgot Eustace's last name. My bad, Eustace. But Eustace actually was one of the developers who created the HBCU marching band game on the Xbox, and he also has a publication out of HBCU marching bands, and he let me have an ad in there for free. I don't have it on me. But Eustace, I want to say Eustace's name. He's been definitely doing tapes for a while, But I know that he's the one that got me this shirt, Donald. But I'll send you Eustace, and shout out to you, Eustace. My bad, I don't know people's names, man. That's why I need to get out. I need to get out, and start meeting folks in person. So I
Yeah.
start remembering some names, man. So yeah, but back to it. Yeah, halftime, that star drill is tough to mess with. I do think though the play calling. I wanted to talk to you guys about this, the play calling in the boombox. So both of them throwing fire at each other, right? Now my first, and let me get the boo birds out right quick. So Bridget and Ernest, I didn't hear no marches. That's strike one. So let's go ahead.
Has that ever happened at the boombox? Have you ever heard a march?
I doubt it.
No, you're not gonna ever hear it.
Come on, y'all. At least the first three rounds be marches. So the first 6
Oh
songs.
my!
Come on, y'all. We'll work that out. All right. Now the part that I was tripping off of was, let's say, play calling. Southern played Tony Braxton's "Love Should Have Brought You Home" last night, and that sounded
Shout out
good.
to Cat. Shout out to Cat. Fire arrangement, brother. Fire arrangement.
Now let me tell you, the ending was horrible. Like they need to cut that ending out. Like that. But man, that sounded good. Now,
Yeah, it sounds good.
So what I thought Jackson State would have done would have been nice is throw like another Tony Braxton song back. You know what I'm saying? They played like a slow song, and I don't know the name of the song, but I thought, man, like as far as play calling, if somebody plays something good, hopefully you have maybe the year that song came out where you could throw something back at like the year.
From that era?
Right, from that era, or like Tony Braxton. So like that part, I was like, man, I wish they threw something else back at them that I kind of recognized. It felt like they just threw like a slow song back at them. So that was my first complaint.
But honestly, in that moment, just from a band director perspective, I don't know if I would necessarily been thinking, "Ooh, let me find some Tony Braxton." I'm gonna think, "What's the best slow song we have?" And that's what we're gonna play. At least that's my thought. I could be wrong, but that would be my immediate thought. And if it's something older, happen to be in that generation, then great. But if I want my band to be the best that they can be. Maybe what they had wasn't good enough. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know.
Maybe, because I mean, it sounded good, but that was the first thing I was like, man, if they had like a Tony Braxton song, like that would go back. And then one thing as far as me with the fifth with Southern is to me they started playing a lot of tuba break songs. Like that started losing it for me. I would like somebody to play a song, like have a whole song where it's like, like you got a introduction, you got a middle, you got a bridge, and then you got an ending. Like, can somebody play
these little rap songs though? They can't even do that with these little rap tunes, man. They play 8 bars, let the tubas have a 16, and then they come in loud for 16.
Right, and it's tight. It's tight. It's exciting. But in the fifth, I don't want to hear that. Maybe 0 quarter, maybe during the game. But I want to hear a play. I want to hear a song.
Me too.
So they went
like,
back and forth like the first 4 rounds, I think. And then Southern started playing they played 2 tuba break songs, and then they dipped. Then the director. And shout out to whoever was directing Southern's band. I don't know where the numbers are, but he be like just throwing, and he tight. Whoever that was.
Who you talking about, Brian? You talking about Brian?
Whoever was directing Southern in the fifth. Like what he be doing, like how he just be throwing his arm. I'm like, dang, what? How is he counting? I'm like,
Brian ain't counting. Shout out to Brian.
Somebody
ain't counting. I'm only playing Brian.
Well, whoever was directing, man, I was getting excited. Like I was like, man, that made me want to stand up and be in my house and be in front, like I'm listening to the film, like I'm directing up there. You know what I'm saying? So that was tight. But and then I hated they left, and then Jackson State started playing a whole bunch of stuff while they left. I don't know, man. I've seen that happen so many times where it's like, come on, Southern, just stay there for like an hour. Just get
But
every hour or something.
how long is it? How long is long enough to stay? Because I hear people always say that. But how long is long enough to stay? Especially if you're giving them the business. Like, okay, after a while, I need to go feed my band. It's time to go home. We're gonna stay here all
Right.
night.
Yeah.
And then now that we've added the zero quarter, because that's new within this century, the zero quarter. Like for
Yeah.
real, enough is enough. Like, let's go home.
Nah, Bridget, we don't want to hear that. We at least want one game of the year where they cut the light. You remember when they used to cut the lights out?
Yeah.
And it was in the pitch black darkness, and the people said, we don't care. Just be out there. That's what we need, Bridget. At least one game.
In
That
defense
could be
of
your
that,
last game. That's your last
Yeah.
game of the season.
usually I'm like you, Bridget. I'm like, you know what? We've already proved what we got to do. You know, we had halftime, we had the zero quarter, we did the fifth. Let's go home.
Let's
But-
go to corral.
Right. In the boom box, you know, they're known for that. They're known for cutting the lights out and going at it all night long. You know, that's what I used to watch tapes of. Them playing in the dark.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. You at
That's
least
true.
need one of those. And you tired, and then that would be dope. The band on both schools, they get that Monday out of class. How about that? Round
Yeah.
the clock.
Well, you got to feed them too now. You got to hold the record open.
See? So that's what I'm saying. It just work out better like that. That's what. But I wish they wouldn't have left. I wish they would stay a little bit longer. But that's just me.
You get the restaurants in Jackson to stay open.
I'm trying to think. They probably had
Basically.
somebody. They probably had somebody open, or they go up to Canton. They go up to Canton. Everything open Canton, boy. So yeah, shout out to people in the chat room. Shout out to 8 to 5. I don't know if that's Tyrone or which one of the guys. The Pride of South Carolina State. Shout out to y'all. And Thassus Austin. I hadn't seen him before. I think he's new. Yeah, shout out to all y'all in the chat room. But no, man, I enjoyed the performance. It was good for both bands. I just wish maybe Southern stayed a little bit longer. But I'm telling you, man, that star drill, well, that's a tough one. That star drill is a tough one. It's a tough one to play with.
So I want to give a shout out to the ramp action. I don't know if you all caught the footage of the J4. Well, you have to call them the J4 this year. Jackson State drum majors and the J sets. I don't know if y'all saw them. Did you see the action with them on the ramp?
I did.
Very cute. Very cute. It was unexpected. So they did an entrance on the ramp. Like, first of all, Jackson State, I love that ramp in that municipal stadium. That ramp is like everything. Who always eat that ramp up? Shout out to Alcorn's, GG's. They were eating that ramp up. But anyway, so they was coming up on the ramp, and the drum majors were ahead. And they like paused. I saw them pause and slow down, then kind of look back at the dancers, the three dancers that's still there, and they did a routine together on the ramp. It was hot. Why you laughing, Joe?
Oh, no, I'm just saying. You know, the three dancers that are still there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know.
It's three. Let me tell you, that three is throwing me off. Like, I think when you get down to that number three, like when they did the first round of cutting, and it was like 6 of them. Okay, like for Crankfest, I think it was 6 of them. Okay, cool. But you cut 3 more. At this point, it's time to say, you know what, Jay said, y'all suspended for the season. Get yourself together. Keep it moving.
Right.
Because that 3 was just like, I was like, y'all got 3 dancers. Give them a baton or something. Or I don't even know what to do with them. Like 3 dancers, go ahead and cut them for the season. Cut your losses. No J sets for the rest of the season. Keep it moving. And they're 3, and of course, if they're not involved, it's not going to be, I hate to say it, they're not going to be your world class, the best dancers, and they struggled on the field. They definitely were struggling on the field. Hey, I mean, let's be honest. If we have a real conversation, this is probably not the best platform to say it, but those who are not being hazed, they're usually the ones that suck it in. You hate to say it. I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, so, they probably was, whatever. The ones who told it, you told it because you suck. That's why they was getting your tail. Anywho, but we shouldn't hate children. It's not good. We're in a different generation, different day. I have to say that. I got to be the adult because I have a job. So we're supposed to say that. But they were like, it was a struggle ministry for them on that field though. And that field, I was just like if they was like a fire 3, great, but
Right.
you put those three against the Dolls. Are y'all crazy? Like y'all need to know better than that. I'd have been like, you know what? At least for this game, I'm not gonna put these three against the Dolls because the Dolls smashed that tail.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the main thing I thought about it. Where all this happening, don't let it happen at BoomBox. Let it
Yeah.
happen
Right.
next week. Like we'll deal with it next
Right.
week. That's what they do in college football. When somebody
Right.
get in
Yep.
trouble, they don't suspend them for the LSU game, dummy.
Right.
Nah, Alabama does. Coach Saban
Right.
does.
Hold
He don't
on,
care if you
Bridget.
do
Okay,
it. If
that's
you do it,
different.
you out of there.
That's
If you
different
do it, you out of there.
because the dude you put down, the dude is just as good as him, are probably gonna get drafted in the league too. So that's different with Alabama, Bridget.
They got that deep roster. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's
deep.
different. But nah, man, somebody do that and it's just like they suspend them against Colgate State. You know what I'm saying? That's
Not
what you
Colgate.
did. Colgate State, you suspended for that, but next week you got to get ready for Auburn. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it
Right.
is.
No, but then they're not gonna take you honestly though. But for real, all jokes aside, they're not gonna take you seriously if they do that because they know, okay, I'm just gonna get suspended for this, but I'll be back. They
we
know
don't.
you don't really mean it. You don't really mean it. You
Of,
don't really mean it when you do that.
True.
of course we don't really mean it, Bridget. We trying to win games. We try.
Nah,
This is
you gotta
Southern
mean it. If
Week.
you're trying to stop, like I play around, but if you want to stop the culture of hazing, you gotta mean it. You gotta do it and you gotta
Yeah.
mean it. And
Yeah.
it has to be at a meaningful time. Like Virginia State band director, he was like, oh no, all y'all Bama's gone. The whole band. Like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
he means that, so we better stop. Like, you know, it's just like when you discipline your kids. Your kids know when you mean it and when you don't. Like, oh, okay, all right. You know, they know the difference. It's the same thing with band directors. Like, yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna suspend you for the Mississippi Valley game. Oh, okay. I'm not missing much, but you'll be back for BoomBox. Oh, okay.
That's because
Yeah.
we need to win games, Bridget. That's the point. We can suspend them in the off season, but I'm trying to tell you, man, when you the coach or you the director and you go out there looking like that, them three girls out there, come on, man. That's everybody dogging us because of that right now. That's your decision, front office. Get it together. Round
Nah,
of
I
applause
support
for getting it together.
I support the band directors in this one. I support you. I applaud them because that's not a, you know, with a band as visible as Jackson State, people gonna notice three. They're gonna notice three J sections. We're not gonna notice the drummers because we ain't counting drummers for real.
Right.
So we're not gonna notice them, but you're gonna notice three J sets. So you know they're gonna have to take a little bit of heat behind that, and for them to take that stance, like okay, they cut the first round. And then the
Mhm.
second, you know, this when they realized something else was going on, whatever's going on allegedly, then they was like, oh, some more of y'all going. Like they took a strong stance, and you know, I have to applaud them because that's not easy to do because you know, like you're saying, Joe, you would be concerned like, oh man, we got to go up against Southern and blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
But that lets them know that they're more concerned about protecting their band programs and their job. My job is more important than y'all beating some little kids' tails. I'm just telling you now.
Oh yeah.
My job is more important
Yeah.
because really the reality is when you become an adult, what you realize is when y'all do stupid crap like that, you're putting my job at risk. And look,
Mhm.
I got bills to pay. I have a mortgage. You know, I have a child. You know, whatever. You have to think
Yeah.
about that. So y'all go ahead and do that stupid stuff if you want to. You know, you get suspended out of school, but I'm gonna lose my job behind it. No, I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut the whole J sets and everybody else. I'm gonna cut the whole.
That's all. I'm surprised they just didn't cut the whole segment out. Play a ballad.
I would have just cut the whole team out. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Or I put three out there. Or unless you trying to also send the message that hey, these are the three, even though they ain't that good. Look that they did the right thing. They had got full integrity.
Right.
So we're gonna put them out there. Nah,
No, they the ones that about to get blackballed by the
that's
band
what I'm
for real.
saying.
Right,
Man. Don't put
right.
About to
them
get
out there.
blackballed. You got the rest of them suspended.
Yeah, you know that. You know that. You know they got
That's
it.
how
Yeah.
it's gonna work.
That's
Hey guys,
sad.
I'm gonna mute myself for a second. I'll be back on in like a minute.
All
All
right.
right.
Because yeah, we about to. I was just about to say if we were wrapping it up, we can go to the commercial. But did you have anything else to talk about? I guess we are. So the zero quarter. I don't know. I can't really say who won with that because it's like all the tuba break get crunk songs. But
Yeah.
I wanted to see more.
I thought they were taking advantage of the zero quarter to play some marches, really, or play some more ballads, or you know, something non-traditional, you know. But
see, that's what
they
I'm
just want
saying. That's
to
what I'm
drug it
saying,
out.
Ernest. That's what I'm
Everybody
saying,
want to be
Ernest.
tough.
Man, we got to bring the marches back. But
Yep.
round of applause for the marches, man. South Carolina State played marches, man.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? We played
That's
marches
right, man.
I'm from the Dr. Liddell legacy, man. We played marches, like Dr. Liddell said. We
Right.
played marches, you know.
And
So
as a bandsman, you got to be able to show your sword. You know what I'm saying? To sharpen your sword and show you got some skills. And that march was the way that we used to do that. You know, we used to play the marches, man. Challenge each other. Who can play the march the best? You know, we used to challenge each other trying to play the flute parts on tuba. All
yeah,
kind of.
you can't do that when you playing Destiny's Child, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right.
That's all right, man. That's all right. Shout out to
Did you say flute part on tuba? Did you say flute
Yes,
part on
I
tuba?
did. Yes, I
Oh
did.
my gosh,
that's
Ernest.
dope.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to
Oh
8 to
my gosh.
5, 8
Yep.
Entertainment. He said no marches. Man, everybody hate on the march. I can't wait for the day that somebody in the chat room say, yeah, the marches is dope. And I'm waiting. We waiting. That's all
Not from
right.
this generation, bro.
I was.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. Well, let's take this last commercial break then, and then we'll be back, and I guess we'll talk about whatever's left on the docket, or anything else left from the boombox, or anything that anyone in the chat room's got to talk about. Listen to the 90 Degree Show. It's the Boombox Week. Thanks for listening. Y'all can mute your microphones. We'll be right back after the last commercial break.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event, but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of Remax Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
You want the best barbecue around? Smokey O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey O's know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around? Smokey O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey O's know what's good for you. Smokey O's. Come check us out.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
Well, unmute your microphone. We are back. You're going to get the cameras back. We're back on our final segment. Shout out again to the chat room. Geronimo287 said that A&T and FAM in the early 2000s, it was all marches and it was an awesome battle. So tape master, everybody out there, the early 2000s, A&T and FAM, that's what we gotta find. Or hey, 98.
I like to see. Yeah.
Yeah, or either 98 FAM Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? As marches.
Well, anytime we saw fam back in my day, usually at some point we would exchange marches. You know, it wouldn't last a whole battle, but we'll go at least 3 rounds with marches.
Oh
So,
yeah, boy. Those were the good old days, boy. Those was the good old days, man.
I think those times are gone though, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they said.
They want to crank. They want to crank.
Yeah, they park
They
and
ain't
blow.
still hear us. Exactly.
Park and blow. So on the last segment here, just throwing out some stuff to you guys. Anything as far as you thought about from the weekend, but also anything else. I know that there was something that happened with KK Psi at Alabama A&M, I believe. And there were some other things that happened. But it is the age-old question about trying to, I guess, have, I don't know, hazing or whatever initiation processes in your band. At this point, I was going to tell somebody they might as well just try to give it up. Or either
you know what, though, bro?
do
You
something.
know what? This KK side issue, I think it's not even a hazing issue. I think it's more of a cultural issue.
It
That has
is.
finally come to a head, where one culture does not understand the other culture. And that's the issue. They don't understand that this is a show.
Right.
You know, this is a probate show. It's a show.
So
It's just like a dramatic performance. How can you suspend somebody for a dramatic performance? I mean,
So could you tell some of the listeners exactly what happened? Because I know it was some band directors
Yeah.
that were upset. So I don't really know the
Alabama,
logistics.
they had a probate show. Well, they were going through some things, getting their chapter rechartered and everything, getting them, getting back on the yard, basically. And they had ran into some roadblocks stemming from hazing. And I think they had gotten a 5, like they had been suspended for 5 years, and they had recently been brought back on. And some drama going on with Nationals with all that. So what happened was Nationals sent someone down to investigate the chapter without authorization from the school. And so they just came on the yard, I guess, asked people some questions. They saw the probate show or something and suspended the kids, saying that they were hazing. Or no, that the show didn't meet some kind of policy of I can't remember what was the exact wording that was used, but it was a policy in Kappa Kappa Psi that the show violated. And because of that, they were suspended for 20 years.
That is ridiculous.
Wow.
20
that's
years.
asinine. That is so asinine. That is so, when I tell you that's ridiculous.
Yeah, like my 14-year-old son would not be able to play as that chapter.
And is that Alabama A&M?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's to me that is so crazy. I think the only incident that I remember, and I'm sure they've suspended people for longer before, I don't know, but I remember when I came through the band was when the Alabama State had an issue. The young man was severely hurt, and it was a big issue, and they suspended them for like 20 years plus. And I can understand, that's understandable. But in this case, over a probate show, nobody was hurt, nobody was injured. You didn't communicate with the band director or the university officials. That's where my issue. That's where my issue stands. And I am a life member of Tau Beta Sigma. I remain a financial member. But in this case, there is a big disconnect. Culturally, there is a disconnect. Yes. I agree with you 100%, Ernest. It's a cultural disconnect. And it's the same thing that we see in the education system, where very often our African-American boys are punished more harshly than anyone else, is exactly what we just saw. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, I'm one of the people who are very outspoken about it. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's a disgrace how they handle it. They handle it publicly. That's the first time I've ever seen them handle a suspension publicly and post it. So instead of fixing the problem, you decide to ostracize them publicly, which is not a sign of brotherhood. I will say that. And I'll say that to any of when I'm going to Midwest in a few weeks, I'll say that to any of the Midwest people that I come across, that's ridiculous. Like, anything that's internal should not be made public in that type of a manner, especially if it hasn't been done so before. So the KK side, Tau Beta Sigma, has some very serious cultural issues to address. And I don't know if they have the right people in place. You can't have Uncle Tom people in place in order to make that happen. Let me say that. You can't have people just trying to climb the ladder. That's not the reality. You're
That's
just trying to
reality.
climb the ladder to get up into the organization and think you're going to make that conversation happen. We thought Tabe Sigma was going to have it, but honestly, we didn't have that person who was a voice for us, even though she was from an HBCU. We didn't have that person. KK Psi has not had that person. And the people that you should be listening to, you're not. So it is what it is. I think there's going to be more fallout than they've anticipated from this. Not that they really care, because they have had the harshest sanctions on HBCUs for a while. SED has been under sanctions since, what year was that South Carolina convention? 2004, 2005. The SED has been under a sanction. That's where all the black chapters mainly are. They've been under sanctions since then over an issue that happened at a step show. I want to, whatever year it is, somebody in the chat room, I'm sure know, like 2004, 2005 at the Clemson convention. They still under sanctions. Like, who keeps somebody under sanctions for that long? So they really do have some cultural issues to address. We just have to be honest about that.
So when you say culture issues, you're talking about like the national office versus, because KK Psi is a national band fraternity, so it's not just at HBCUs. It's at
Right.
Maryland. So you're talking about like the front office, which is probably people from University of California or Ohio State. I
Yes.
guess making decisions about HBCU programs. Is
Right.
that
And understanding what we do, the cultural things we do that are
Right.
non-hazing.
Right.
Let me tell you, some of the biggest offenders of hazing I've ever seen have been from white chapters, and they do like dangerous crap, like be ready to, like on the verge of killing folks, that kind of crap. And to me, it's so unfortunate that we carry the stigma of being the hazers when very often it's not. Some things is just cultural. Like stepping to us it's a cultural thing. That's not about hazing. A probate show, that's kind of like the HBCU cultural fraternity. There's nothing about hazing. That doesn't represent necessarily what happened in the process or anything else. It's a show that you've created.
When you go to a HBCU probate show and everybody is lined up, everybody is gripped up, everybody is speaking in unison, to them, that's hazing.
Oh.
So that's what we're talking about, and
Okay.
because they don't understand the culture of the HBCU Black Greek fraternities and sororities. If they understood how Qs and Deltas and the Kappas got down, then they will understand how to accept KK Psi in this element. But they don't understand that. It's a cultural disconnect.
That's interesting that you say that, because gripped up, or however you want to call it, and you reciting, that's
Right.
what we understood as reciting information.
Right.
Or
And Kappa, we call it rapping. We call it rapping Kappa.
right.
That's what, if we doing that, if we rapping and they come up there with the nationals and they see all that, man, it's where we hazing these people.
Wow.
In front of a
Wow, I didn't know that. That's a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a trip. That's definitely a cultural thing, because, like you say, that's rapping or that's entertaining the bros. That's
right.
That's you putting out or applying what you've learned. Because of course you've memorized all that stuff, and then you put your show together, and your line does whatever. That's your entertainment.
Or you in line because of your height. Oh, that's directly hazing, according to Kappa Kappa Psi.
Oh yeah, see they tripping with that, because that's how you get your number. What's wrong with you,
Exactly.
KK Psi? How you gonna be a number 6? How you gonna find out if you gonna be number 6 if you ain't doing about
Let's
height?
go 6.
You know what I'm saying? What you put numbers in a hat? No, then your line would look like buildings. Nah, man, y'all tripping. All right. So yeah, I had to ask y'all about that, because I didn't get a chance to ask y'all about it last week, but I didn't understand exactly what's going on. But that makes an interesting conversation we probably could go deeper on. I know with Omega Psi Phi, there's certain property that's owned by other organizations, but then Omega Psi Phi is paying for stuff like that. Stuff. Definitely, I guess we understand. It might be the same as when we actually are going to predominantly white institutions, or when we go into HBCUs. Your professors and maybe your mentors are probably going to understand what you're going through, or maybe can empathize, versus, getting the book thrown at you for something you saw Bethany and them doing last week, and
Yeah.
yeah.
They just have to take, instead of being such harsh reactionaries, they need to understand what membership intake is like, or membership education, whatever they call it, is like for HBCUs, and figure out how to really kind of, I hate to say control the narrative, but really control the narrative. As a member of Delta, I think they've done a great job of capturing our experience now and making it so that we've included all the elements, but we've taken out the threatening element, and that's what they have to do. So a probate show is okay. For instance, in Delta, if you new member probate is perfectly fine, but your show has to be approved beforehand, so they know what's kind of happening.
Oh, okay.
And so maybe that's the step. So so KK Psi and TBS have to take proactive steps instead of reactionary, because this right now is very reactionary. They need to take proactive steps, and they have to have the right people at the table. And they don't right now. They don't have the right people at the table to really give them that experience. And I know you think you do. If anybody's from Kappa Kappa Psi Nationals listening, you think you do, but you have the wrong people at the table. Is what we keep trying to tell you. So either way, like I said, this is a very relevant conversation. I'm going to Midwest Band and Orchestra Clan in a few weeks. So shout out to all the directors who are going, and all the national offices are represented there. And this is like a real conversation I plan on having. Like, you can't do nothing to me. I'm an alumni. But this is really, what you gonna do to me? Bar me? Oh, great. There's nothing you can do, but this is a very real relevant conversation. Everybody's tiptoeing around it. What you tiptoeing for? It's not going to be addressed. It's not going to be addressed if you keep tiptoeing around the conversation.
That's right.
Well, that's what's up, y'all. That's what's up. So, yeah, I'm glad that you guys had that. And I guess more information about that conversation will continue. Let me get here my little closing music. I got to have it ready.
Before you do closing, we have to give a shout out to, and I was surprised we didn't, well, I know it's BoomBox Week, but we didn't cover this. But yesterday was a historic matchup.
Oh, that's right.
Grambling and Mississippi Valley. That's the first time two female conductors have been leaders of a band, women on the podium. Shout out to our sisters, Dr. Robot, Dr. Simon. Shout out to you, and leading SWAC bands. Like, come through, my sisters, my sorors, my Tau Beta Sigma sorors, come through. I think Dr. Simon is my Delta soror also. So shout out to you. That was a historical moment. I'm glad they captured it with a picture, but that's a historical moment. It's a shame that we're in 2019 and we're still having the first females do blah 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 conversations, but at least we're having it. So shout out to the SWAC for leading the way, to those two schools for being visionaries, and them for breaking that glass, because they just broke a glass ceiling big time. So shout out to you ladies.
I was gonna actually talk about that, but I forgot about it. Thinking about the Bruz and Founders Day. It's Founders Day. But yes, I saw the picture, and it was a great picture too. Like, I don't know, y'all seen the picture? It was a good picture. So definitely, I definitely would like to reach out to them. I know Eddie has on his director's corner. He's interviewed
both of them. He said both of them.
Okay, so both of them. So that's really exciting for them. But definitely make sure you check out Eddie's interview with those two female band directors. And shout out to them and give them a round of applause real quick for what they did yesterday.
Shout out to you ladies. Outstanding job. Outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding.
So we should definitely see more of that. See more of their matchup. And we'll be seeing her at the not BoomBox, but what is it?
The Bayou.
The Bayou. So that'll be dope if Grambling came in there and surprised Southern. Like that
But let me tell you that they're not far off the mark. Like last year, they came through and was a little bit surprising. So I can imagine what's going to happen this year. I'm looking forward to. I actually think I'm good, because I'm going to be home for Thanksgiving this year. So I actually think I'm going to make the Bayou this year. That's my plan. So I actually plan to be in the house at least for the Battle of the Bands. Definitely.
Well, I plan to travel next year, not 2020, but 2021. I already got a whole bunch of stuff lined up. Y'all watch. I'm telling you, man. Once my kids get a little older and I'm not paying for daycare, I'm telling you, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over. Y'all ain't gonna know how. Y'all be seeing me at everything. You know what I'm saying?
I'm paying for daycare. That's funny.
Yeah, it's breaking me, Bridget. That's why I'm working like 8 jobs.
The beast.
I'm
The
telling you.
beast.
And I'm hoping if anybody else is watching, please sponsor the network because that'll definitely help me out too. You know what I'm saying? So round of applause for sponsoring the network.
Absolutely.
But it's always a good conversation. So yeah, BoomBox was good. I'm sure you guys can check it out. Garrett's got it. Showtime's got it.
Killer Kev.
Killer Kev
Mhm.
and Gerard with Marching Sport. He's got it. Some of everybody's got some of everything. And yeah, it looks a lot of the internet folks are saying that Southern won halftime. I don't know what people are talking about the fifth, but to me, Jackson State that was me. I thought they won. But you know, it is what it is.
Joe, on all of their pages, they also have like their Cash App names and their PayPal. And I really do. Let me tell you, I was like looking at it today, and I was like, you know what? I really do appreciate. I'm not able to make all the games because I'm in the northern area, but I appreciate those brothers that are going out there, and that has to be expensive going to those games. So if you feel in your heart to do so, drop them brothers $5. I'll say thank you. I appreciate the footage. I plan to do it this week, definitely. You know, Showtime. I'm always on Showtime with footage. Like, come on now, $5 to help them out because they're exposing us and giving us an opportunity to see things we otherwise wouldn't see. So if you feel it, so please do that.
Glad you said that. I'm ready to start having a little shout out to all the HBCU videographers. I know Garrett. I remember he was the first one, and Gerard with Marching Sport.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember. So we about to do it free of charge. We about a round of applause for free of charge because that's actually a really good thing. Not only is it expensive to travel, but I think we talked a couple weeks about like they're buying their own equipment too. Like,
yeah.
So like Garrett's probably like working for Southern, but I promise you, they ain't just giving him no money and like, here you go, Garrett, just go out and do your thing. I bet you he paying for it. And then he writing some slip to talk about why he paid for it, and then they get all that approved, and then they give him his money back. I bet you that's what they're doing.
Is he in the chat room? Is he in the chat room today? Because I'm not in the chat room. I can say usually he's in the chat room.
Somebody Unstoppable 25. No, I didn't see him in there.
We got you coming, Garrett. When I see you, I'm gonna treat you to a chicken sandwich, brother.
Speaking of which, Bridget put a post on Facebook talking about, hey Popeyes, can I just get some red beans and rice? The lines is too long. Okay, so
can they separate the lines? They need a line just for them daggone nasty chicken sandwiches, so I can get my red beans and rice.
Hey, so I thought just because I was here in California, maybe they wouldn't know about them, and maybe it's like a down south thing. So I went over to the one out of my way, which is kind of far because ain't too many Popeyes out here. And the line was long, Bridget.
Bruh, I'm trying to tell you.
I've stopped trying. I don't even try no more.
I've had that chicken sandwich several times. And let me tell you, I've had it probably about 6 times. Because each time I'm like, all right, it's going to be better next time. I've had it one time and it was good. That joint is not good.
Well, I need to at least get it one time because I'm starting to feel left out.
You ain't missing nothing.
I haven't had it yet either. Well.
Oh, okay. All right. I feel better. I do want to say something real quick. Unstoppable 25, Jackson State alumni, said he was disappointed with Jackson State's halftime, especially with the Jaysons. Said that was the worst performance in their 48-year history.
48-year history. Wow,
that hurt. So, yeah, I didn't know it was that bad. I did hear a lot of people, though, on our side talking about what we could have done better. And I guess I just didn't see it that way. But, of course, all the Southern folks, they happy today, boy. Like they haven't
been happy all year. It's good.
Sure
they ain't been happy all year. They ain't been happy all year. So I'm glad the Kangs is happy for once. I know somebody gonna come for me. The Kangs, y'all happy? Y'all finally happy? We gave y'all props today. Jesus, shut the hell up. Like I get so sick of Southern people. And trust me, some of them my homies, but I be like, Lord have mercy. But they get, Southern get real quiet when things ain't going right. But when things going well, they tearing up the internet. Like they all over there today. But when they played FAMU, they were quiet as little church mouse. So I'm glad the Kangs is happy. I'm glad y'all happy. I know somebody gonna come for me in Midwest. That's all right. Y'all can come see me at Midwest again. Every year somebody be ready to fight me. Nah, I'm glad the Kangs is happy finally.
Well, that's what's up, y'all. That's what's up as I get everything together. All right, so I'll let you guys close out the show. Ernest, anything else before we close out the podcast?
Oh man, nah, man. I'm just glad to be back on the podcast in a building with everybody.
Right.
We got what? One more week left.
Basically, because after
Yep.
November is kind of like open, and then you got the Bayou, and then December is we just pretty much own like talking about conference championships, and like
And then
the
it's the we got
CIAA
to
is
do
not
something
even
big
on.
for the Honda.
Yeah, the
Right.
Honda.
Do it big for the Honda. We're gonna do it big for everybody for the Honda.
Man, next
We're gonna
year.
be
And lock
we're gonna
ourselves.
be
We'll
at
do
the
a
Honda.
full analysis of all the performance.
Yeah, that'll be dope. That'll be dope. And
Yeah.
next year I'll be there. 2021,
Ah.
I'm gonna be there.
That's
2020,
some bull.
it didn't work
That's
out, but 2021,
Aw.
I'm gonna be there. I might start showing up in the fall of 2020 at places, but
Come on now, plan for it now.
I'm planning for it. But man,
You
boy,
better put your Cash App name up on your
Yeah.
page.
I
Get
should.
Joe.
That's what everybody else do.
I
Get
should.
Joe to Honda.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that'll
Trying
be
to tell
dope.
you.
That'll be dope. Cause help me out. Cause I'm telling you, I'm paying people back when I have our massive conference party out here or either in Vegas. I'm still trying to
Oh
work
yeah.
it out. But it's
You
gonna-
forever trying to. He forever trying to get somebody out there. All of us on the East Coast. Isn't it cheaper for you just to come over here?
I miss
You
y'all.
gonna fly like 10 folks over on your side. Just hop on a flight to the East Coast.
The weather better. The weather better over here. That's what I'm saying. It's
We can go to Florida.
There we got me. Oh, Florida, man.
That's
Florida,
right.
man. Y'all got them sharks and y'all got roaches.
Roaches.
Roaches and all that humidity, and then the Florida man down there. Florida man crazy.
Uh,
Every time you look around, somebody he doing something. So I'm scared of Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Not roaches.
Rich,
Y'all don't have roaches in Cali?
No, not like that, man. Just because it ain't that the humidity. You gotta go closer to like beach areas because
Oh,
like
right.
there's water. But nah, once you get out inland a little bit, man, it ain't nothing but spiders and snakes. Spiders and snakes. There you go. All right, y'all.
Wow.
Well, I could talk to y'all all day. Bridget, anything you wanted to say before we wrapped up the show?
Nope. Shout out to everybody. Thank y'all for your patience. I made it home at least, but anybody know about it? This was a good show week. Shout out to all the bands, all the band
Yeah.
directors. Shout out to my little person, Zoe Eats, Little Southern Belle on YouTube. Go
Yeah.
like her channel. She got a new little episode up there this week with her dramatic self.
Nice.
But go check out the Little Southern Belle. Her name is Zoe Eats. Check out the Kid Food Critic. Check her out.
That's a great play
And we'll
on
see
name.
y'all next week.
That's a great play on words. Zoe Eats. That's a great.
Yes.
That's pretty dope.
Her fan club on Facebook created that. Christy Walker, Aunt Christy, and all the rest of them. They came up with that name, and she was like, I like it, Zoe Eats. And so she be all on her. This is Zoe Eats and like and share. I'm like, oh my gosh. So she's doing her thing, and it's so funny. It's her natural personality. Like I don't even say anything. That's just her dramatic self. So it's really fun to like really watch her in her element.
Right. Well, that's what's up.
How old
y'all.
is
She's 8. She's 8 years old.
Okay.
It
Wow.
has way more personality. Let me tell you, that is not me. As an 8-year-old, I was shy, quiet, and a crybaby. Like, you could never get me to do that. You would never. And she's just like, hi, it's Zoe. And then
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, she's just I wish I had that personality at 8 years old. I really do.
Word. That's what's up. Well, you guys, I guess another great week. Much appreciated. Y'all have a good work week. We'll
You
holler at
too.
y'all next week. We'll work it all out. If you like the show or if your business, if you want to promote yourself, hit us up and we'll put your information down below. We'll put you on Twitter. We'll put you on Facebook. And also, we'll do our best to get your name out there, okay? That's it for the show. Thanks again for listening and watching. Subscribe, like, do all of that stuff, share.
I'm getting them all mad. Get mad.
There
Get mad.
you go. Barack Obama, he mad. But he half white, too, man. Y'all can't get mad at y'all keep calling him a brother. He half white, man. Why y'all be forgetting that? You know what I'm saying?
Here, bro.
All it takes is a drop.
That's right. A drop, and then you like black girls. So that's pretty much it. Round of applause.
Oh my
You have
God.
black children too? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, your whole family black? No, brother. So it's all good. All right, y'all. But yeah, much appreciated, much love. If you want to support the show, to donate, do all of that, we will see y'all next week. Remember, the lessons you give may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson in observing what you do. Shout out to the bros. 108. Be safe. Don't do think before you act. Let me just say that, because I need it. And pray for me too. Pray for all y'all. See y'all again next week. It was much, and I see my mom there. Shout out to your mom. I'll call you.
Hey, mama.
Yeah, I'll call you in a little bit. All right, y'all. We have a good one. Have a good week.
All right.
And that's it for the 90 Degree Show for this week. Tune in next week with Joe Beard, where the marching band battles continue.